So back to something a bit more normal. I've had the chance this weekend, which is why I haven't got any further with Yakuza or put up a Blood Trails video yet, 'cause I got slightly distracted by this. But a friend of mine got the new Professor Layton, and I've had the chance to play with it this weekend because he wanted to go back and finish the first one to keep up with the story. So I've been flying through it. It's really not a game to try and rush through in a weekend like that. That's become obvious, but it's just as good as the first one. I think, it's hard to say exactly because I've just had these 2 days to play with it. I haven't really had a chance to attack this like I would do if I was professional or anything like that and was doing proper review. But it, it's the second of what I think is now going to end up being 6 games. I mean, I know they're bringing the third one over to America and to Europe, obviously, but I've not heard. I think I read something about there being a second trilogy of Professor Layton games, and I've not heard whether any news on whether they'll make it over or even if they've even come out yet. But it's basically another dressed-up puzzle game, but it's done in such a way that I really enjoy. I mean, I've played a few of the games like this, I think it's called Another Code. It's just had a sequel on the Wii, and Hotel Dusk, and to a certain extent the Phoenix Wright games that are essentially logic puzzles or just general puzzles that are all dressed up within a narrative to keep you playing rather than just being something on the lines of Tetris. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tetris is still good, but I like having it a bit more dressed up and a bit more involved. And to an extent, that's sort of why, for some of the puzzles in this one, I hate to admit it, but I have resorted to a bit of cheating where I've had a few goes at it. I've bought a hint or two, and I'm starting to bang my head against the wall in frustration that I just can't quite see what it is, and because I have such a limited time with it, I really do want to get through to see the end. So I have resorted to looking at the guides that have been so kindly already almost completely detailed on the internet, because obviously, depending on which website you go, some people have already flown through the Japanese version and have translated enough of it to give a decent guide. And yeah, so this one, I think in America it's called the Diabolical Box, and over here it's just called the Pandora's Box. And it's a similar setup to the first one. It's got lovely animated cutscenes, and well, if you played the first one, you know what you're gonna get with the second one. But there are for some reason it seems to have a fair few of the kind of puzzles I really hate, which is where I started to just look for a guide to tell me how on earth to do it. It's the kind of puzzles where it's like sliding puzzles where you've got to move a specific piece down to another different area, and you have like one block of space, so you're just completely sliding to try and move them all around to get the one where you want it. And I cannot stand those puzzles. I mean, I had enough of them with the original Still Life and other games like it before, and I can never do them. I mean, there's some on this, obviously it's a lot quicker rather than just with the pad like I had to do in Still Life on the Xbox. Like, obviously with the slider it is slightly quicker to get through a puzzle like this, but it was like I'd go through like maybe 150 moves and then I'd realise I'm pretty much exactly where I started. So it just when it gets to that stage, it's just can't remember which website. I think it's like on IGN or something like that, and just quickly please tell me what I need to do. But this is one of the weird things about it, because it is the kind of game that I am playing absolutely and completely the wrong way, because it is, especially with it being on the DS, it's just the kind of game that you'll sit back, pick up and play, get through a few puzzles, you'll get the next little tidbit of the story, and then you'll put down and you'll come back to it at a different time. Or you could, if you're on the bus, just do the one puzzle, close it again, and get off at the next stop, sort of thing. That is how this should should be played, but unfortunately I don't have the chance until I can actually buy it myself, and my recent purchases have tapped me out for the next couple of months, so it will be a while before I get round to it. And the first one again, because I stupidly let that one go. But yeah, I mean, it's got to the stage where I'm not too fussed about the puzzles. I've actually got involved in the story. I just want to know what happens. So that's another reason why I'm just trying to fly through it. And yeah, it's been really fun. And I do wish I had the money to repurchase the first one and then go out and buy this one. It's on my list to get eventually. I think there's a couple of titles before it, but it's definitely up, I'd say, in the top 5 or 6 of my next purchases. And there isn't really anything. If you like puzzles and you kind of like to have a bit of story to go along with it, rather than just something like, I don't know, Trixel on the iPhone, the iPod Touch, where it's just the boards and stuff like that. You just go from one to the next. There's no gap or anything like that. There's no real reason to be doing the puzzles other than to stretch your mind. Then yeah, I would definitely say this is without a doubt worth buying, and I'm hoping I have just about enough time to finish it before I have to give it back to him tomorrow. So yes, hopefully, yeah. So I'll stop there so I can get back to playing it actually.